China, first row. China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen.
Did US just declare an economic war on some of its biggest trade partners? Well,
Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple, can't get any simpler than that. So when they're figuring what's Canada charging, they say, oh, about 2%, 3%.
overnight, President Donald Trump unveiled sweeping new tariffs, calling it the country's declaration of economic independence, and the world is taking notice. Let's break it down. US President Donald Trump has officially announced new tariffs on key trade partners. Starting April 5th, the US will impose a 25% tariff on all foreign made automobiles, a 34% tariff on Chinese imports, a 20% tariff on European Union imports, a 24% tariff on Japanese goods, a 26% tariff on Indian goods. These tariffs will take effect at 12:01 a.m. ET on April 5th, while even higher rates on select nations will roll out on April 9. Standing in the White House Rose Garden, Trump said the new policy is based on reciprocal tariffs, charging other countries approximately half of what they impose on the US. Bringing out a chart, he explained China charges the US 67% in tariffs, so the US will now impose 34% on China. Vietnam faces the highest hike, a 46% tariff. Taiwan, 32%, Japan, 24%, India 26%, Thailand 36%, South Korea 25%. A new 10% tariff will apply to all goods imported from the UK. Cambodia is among the hardest hit with a 49% tariff, while South Africa faces 30%, Indonesia 32%, and both Brazil and Singapore will see 10% tariffs. Addressing global leaders, Trump made it clear terminate your own tariffs, drop your barriers, don't manipulate your currencies, and start buying tens of billions of dollars of American goods. He insists that the US has been treated unfairly for decades, saying, we are being kind with these reciprocal tariffs. I could have gone much harsher.
Other nations, it's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind, we're kind people, very kind. In today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater. But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in America.
In a shocking move, the White House declared a national emergency over trade deficits. As part of this, a baseline 10% tariff on all US imports will take effect on April 5th. More details are still pending, but Trump has hinted at adding a 10% base interest on all imports. The announcement rattled Wall Street. Dow futures dropped 256 points, minus 0.61%. S&P 500 slid 1.69%, Nasdaq 100 saw the biggest hit, plunging 2.54%. Investors fear higher prices and potential retaliation from major economies. Calling this one of the most important days in US history, Trump insists the move will bring back American manufacturing and create jobs. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper, he said. Trump claims these tariffs will generate $6 trillion in investments, but economists argue that tariffs are paid by American businesses and consumers, making this one of the largest tax hikes in US history. The White House confirmed that existing tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles will remain in place. Mexico and Canada will not face additional tariffs under this order, but for India and Vietnam, the pain is real. Trump says even his friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, hasn't been treating the US right. The world is watching. How will global leaders respond? Stay tuned.